Some conditional examples. First up here, you can say I'm number years old, and the bot will store that in the age variable. And then you can ask the bot, what am I old enough to do? Conditions are checked in order from the top to the bottom. If none of the conditions come out true, then the normal replies are given. So here you can see that if you're greater than or equal to 21, it says you can drink alcohol. If you're greater than or equal to 18, you can vote and gamble, and so on. If your age is less than 16, it says you can't do anything fun. If you haven't told the bot your age yet, your age is going to be undefined. None of these conditions are going to match, and it's going to tell you at the bottom, I don't know how old you are yet. Some more examples. You could have a trigger when someone tells the bot its name. If it happens to be the same as the bot's own name, it could say like, wow, we have the same name. Or otherwise, it can just give you standard, nice to meet you, get name. Another condition, asking the bot if it knows your name. If your name is undefined, it will give a response, no, I don't, or no, what is your name? Otherwise, it will tell you what your name is. The topics in Rivescript are runabout-like. They segregate the trigger set that you're allowed to match based on topic. One of the cool features is that topics can inherit or include triggers that belong to other topics. And a fun example of this is you could have like a text-based role-playing game where you can have a global topic that has commands like help and inventory, and then you can have a topic for the dungeon that you're in with the dungeon-specific triggers, and then a topic for the current room. And so you could have some rooms that override the triggers from the topics that it inherits. Inherit means the local triggers automatically have a higher priority than the ones from the topic that it inherits, and include it, groups them all together as if it was one giant topic. And you can actually have a topic that inherits the global topic, the default one. The default topic is called random, which is something that I picked up from Runabout, because on Runabout, you do set topic equals random to go back to the default topic. If you have a topic that inherits random, then all of the triggers in that topic have higher priority. Here's a really fun topic example. Imagine a curse word. The bot will say, how rude are you? I won't talk to you until you apologize. And then it puts you into the sorry topic. And in this topic, if you say anything except for sorry, it's just going to give you one of those two responses. You have to apologize to the bot, and then it puts you back in the random topic. Another feature of Rivescript is what I call the begin topic. It's a special kind of topic, and it allows you to pre- and post-process your reply. And it's optional. This is what it looks like. You open and close the begin tag, and then the only trigger that has to be in the begin topic is the request trigger. And what it needs to do is return OK in curly brackets. If that appears in the response to this trigger, it goes on and gets the real reply to your message, and then it will replace the OK with that response. So in this example here, you can have a bot variable for maintenance. If bot maint equals true, sorry, I'm currently undergoing maintenance. Otherwise, it gets a response. For post-processing, string tags like uppercase can be applied to OK too. So you could have a mood variable for your bot, and when your bot's angry, it could reply in uppercase to all your messages. Just real quick, another fun example that I'd use in my bots is on the begin request, there's a condition that checks if their name is undefined. And if it's undefined, then they're probably a new user, and it can put them into a topic saying like introduction or something. And so then when you first IM the bot for the first time, it could say like, hi, I am bot name, what is your name? And then it could ask you a few interview questions like that to get to know you. And then once it knows your name, that condition wouldn't match anymore, so that the bot would chat like normal. Rivescript supports inline what I call object macros. They're basically program code that you can include directly into your Rivescript. And an example would be like having a block of Perl code to look up weather time or weather or movie times. So you could have someone ask the bot, look at movie times for Los Angeles, and it would be able to run the Perl code, fetch the movie times, and then return them and include them in the response. Here's a pretty simple example. You could have a trigger where you can ask the bot to encode something for you as an MD5 hash. And so you have the object tag there, and then some Perl code in there. And then to call it, you just use the call tag by name, give it the star, and it will run that code and return the MD5 hash. The availability of Rivescript, there's a Perl and a Java library for it. The Perl one is the one that came first because I'm a Perl guy. It's feature complete as far as it supports everything that I wrote up on the spec, and it's where new features come first. The Java library I completed a couple of years ago. it's feature complete. It passes my test suite code, and it should theoretically work, but it hasn't been extensively tested, so there might be some ways to cause some kind of exceptions in it or something. I haven't really beaten on it too hard. The Perl distribution of Rivescript, it comes with a command line tool called Rivescript, and that's for testing your code. Like if you just run the Rivescript command, you can give it a path to your folder full of files, and you can test it right there in the terminal. And it can also be used from a third-party program in a non-interactive way using JSON. So like if you were writing a C bot or something, you could open a pipe to the Rivescript command, print using standard input a JSON encoded username message and everything, and then the command would return JSON output that you could parse back into your C code, so that you can still use Rivescript even if you are programming a different language that doesn't have a native Rivescript library. A little example to show you how that works. This is like what you would type at a shell prompt. So like you have your JSON encoded input with username, message, pipe that into Rivescript with the JSON option and your path to your files, and then it will respond with this. Status OK, the reply that you got, and all the user variables that have been modified or set by the Rivescript so that your program could parse those variables back into something and keep a local state. You can also pass those variables in your input JSON too. All right, so to learn more, there's rivescript.com. There's a bot that I wrote that will sign on to AIM and Yahoo Messenger. And that bot, it's called AIRS, but it's not strictly limited to Rivescript. Like it also comes with a chatbot ELIZA brain, so you can see an example of how to use a different bot brain with it. It's really modular, so you have like a folder for brains, and then there's individual files for the different ones, so it's really easy to write your own. There's links there to download the Perl and Java libraries to use in your own projects. And you can actually try it out live online. There's a URL here. How am I doing on time?
Go ahead, try.
All right. So this is the try online page. You can either write your own code in this box, or you can select a template. All these numbered ones are tutorial templates, because I was working on a tutorial a while ago. It's not really complete yet, but you can see how it goes through the different kinds of things in a kind of logical order, starting with simple example and going up to, you have some optionals here. With square brackets, you can have optional words in your triggers. So here you can say, what is your home number? Or you can say, what is your home phone number? The word phone there is optional. Or like here, you can have, I do not have friends, or you can say, I do not have any friends. And those both match this one. The standard.rs is the one that ships with the distributions. It has a begin example for you, a full set of bot variables and substitutions, comparison substitutions. It has a few arrays. And then it's got triggers that can learn and repeat your information. And then after that, let's see. This set down here it's based on the ELIZA brain. Well, it's kind of an emulation of the ELIZA brain. It's not based on it directly, but I read through the code of Chatbot ELIZA and put in these triggers myself. So you can write your code here, and then you click execute. And with any luck, any questions? Yeah.
One of the downsides of AML I've found is there's no ability to do any sort of math functions. Is there anything like that in Rivescript or any plans to develop?
What do you mean by math?
Just simply adding two numbers together. Making sort of like games is almost impossible because you've got to code every number plus it's one up from there.
Right. So math for triggers isn't any easier in this than it is in AIML. So it's kind of difficult to have triggers for like what is the sum of 2 and 2. You'd have to write a few different triggers for that. You can have substitutions that replace the plus symbol with the word add or something. So you can have, a trigger say like, what is number add number, and then to actually evaluate that, you could use a Perl object or something. Anyone else? Yeah.
Did you have something similar to a recursion, like the SRA on stack in HTML?
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if it was was that how when you saw it was okay in the curly brackets? Was that recurring to something?
Add with angle brackets around it automatically takes the first star as what to redirect to. If you want to use another star or just something more complicated than that, you use curly brackets, and then you could do that. So the add with the angle brackets is a shortcut, because most of the time if you're looking to use, they would be wanting to do something like that. So that's just a shortcut. Anyone else? Yeah.
How long have you been working on Rivescript?
I probably started on it somewhere around like 2004, and I got most of it done in around like 2005, and then I was just making small little tweaks to it. And then around like 2007 or 8, I decided to get back into it because I saw some interest on some unrelated forum where someone asking how one makes their own bot, and then because I'd kind of gotten away from the bot making community, but then I saw there was still some interest in it somewhere, so I dusted off the old code and got it more up to date. The current version's last release was a few months ago. Yeah.
Cursely, what is Cursely? What's the significance of that?
It's pronounced Cursel, and that's just an internet alias that I came up with a while ago. It actually started from the video game Nights into Dreams. There was a character in that named Kirkle with a C at the end. And I thought the C would be pronounced like an S, but no one seemed to agree, so I just changed the spelling.
Thank you.
Yep.